TFA fam, what is up? What is happening? It is week 16 of the fantasy football calendar, which means we are 1 week away from the fantasy championship. Sorry, not playoffs. And it also means we're only like 5 days away from Christmas. So, got a lot of football this weekend. With among all the other events that people will be doing this weekend, we got football Thursday, we got football Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So,
Lots.
It's gonna be exciting. So, and next Friday is Mizzou Ohio State, so that's also exciting. National Signing Day was today. I mean, Williams Noari committed to Mizzou, so number one of the top 5 player in the country. So whatever. Anyways, we're not here for that. We could be though, but we're not. Michael,
soon enough.
Evening, guys. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, and flex PPR. Pollard, Gibbs, Achane, Javonte, Hubbard, and then DK, Puka, Rice, Evans, Reed, Kelsey on the Porta. This is the best damn channel. Thanks.
Still the best. As if something changed. Nothing changed.
No.
Ain't nothing changed. I'm going Pollard and Gibbs at running back. Wide receiver, I'm going... Oh, boy. So wide receivers in flex is going to be DK, Rice, and Evans. And then a tight end, going to go Kelsey.
Yeah. Pollard, Gibbs. Let me see. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I agree. Agreed. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Michael, and defense streamers. I still have the Bears, and Bears worked out last week. And I picked up the Broncos because I know they play the Chargers next week. You should be excited they play the Patriots this week. I mean, the Broncos are actually a good streaming option for the next 2 weeks. I mean, to be honest with you. But, this week against the Patriots at home, which is always just an advantage of playing there. We know that whoever the quarterback is going to be there isn't good and is going to turn the ball over. So, I think the Broncos are a really good option this week.
Yeah, I think I would go Broncos over the Bears. I like the Bears this week, but hard not to love the Broncos matchup.
Yeah, the Eagles, I think, is another option if you wanted to look at them. The Jets are another option, I think, if you wanted to look there. Commanders are also in play as well.
So I saw this question as we were getting ready to gear up, and I was looking. The Eagles are kind of like right at the threshold of teams that we would typically mention. They are rostered on 56.5% of ESPN leagues, and then right underneath that, Packers, Colts, Vikings, Texans, Jags. But I mean, with you already having the Broncos, I would just go Broncos. I think that for anyone else that's listening, Bengals are another option. 15.9% rostered ESPN leagues, and the Bears at 14.7. KD, Merrick, Kev, I don't know if you knew if you were talking or not, but you're muted there, pal.
Oh, that's embarrassing. What are you, an amateur? What is this, amateur hour? I just went all that. I
wondering what was going on.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
I already said it. All our youth or Fields or Murray. Also, Merry Christmas to you, KD.
This is now what, three weeks in a row, I think.
Yeah, it's been a long year, I guess. Starting to slip a little bit. Got to step it up.
It's been a long December. There's reason to believe.
this year may be better than the last.
There we go. Let's go.
So
Um, golly. Probably gonna go Patty Fry here. And then Fields.
I'm gonna go Fields and Waller. Just Mason Rudolph. It's kind of hard to feel excited about that. Then again, I mean, who have we? What quarterback do they have that we should be excited about? Katie made it to the semis with Chase ruled out. I was able to pick up Boyd as a flex option. Would Demarcus Robinson, Sheed, Mingo, Parker Washington be a better flex or roll with Boyd?
I'd roll with Boyd. I think you could make a case for Parker Washington if both of the receivers are out. I mean, obviously Christian Kirk's gonna be out, but if Zay Jones is out, I think you can make a case for Parker Washington. But that also comes down to what happens with the Jags quarterback situation as well. So I'd probably roll with Boyd here. But you could make a case for Parker Washington.
Yeah, I think I would too, especially without knowing what's going to happen with Trevor Lawrence. Because if they're without Trevor Lawrence too, then it's really hard to get excited about that offense. So, yeah, I think I would just roll with Tyler Boyd, especially with Chase out. I think it just makes the most sense. And he also says he has Gus Edwards, which doesn't really change anything for me. Going against the 49ers. I mean, he has to basically he kind of needs to fall into the end zone to really be worth it because he's not heavily utilized in the passing game. And so you really would want to play him on a game where they're going to have a positive script, where this is probably not going to be it that game. So
Yeah.
and then Gus Edwards, Montgomery, Aaron Jones, two standard things. It's going to be Montgomery and Aaron Jones.
Yep. I'm normally not an Aaron Jones type of guy, but I do like this spot this week.
Alexis, evening, Christmas right around the corner. Yes, it is. Nick Mullins, Easton Stick, or Zach Wilson. This is going to be this is going to be Nick Mullins for me. I mean, he threw for over 300 yards last week. Had a couple touchdown passes as well. Offers a little bit with his legs, which is a positive. But I mean, just with all the weapons they have, I mean, you're talking about an offense that has Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hockenson, Addison. I mean, there's a lot to like there within that offense that he's going to be able to rely on. Where you're talking about with Zach Wilson, I'm not doing that, and I don't even know if Zach Wilson is favorite protocol. And then Easton Stick was mostly garbage time. So I'm not excited about that either. And Keenan Allen didn't practice today either, so they could be without him. So you could be looking at Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnston again. So yeah, it's pretty easily Nick Mullins for me.
I want it to be Zach Wilson again if he even clears protocol, but you're right. It's Nick Mullins.
Alexis again, Waller or Kittle. This is Kittle.
Kittle.
And then McLaurin or Keenan. I don't think Keenan plays.
I don't think so either. I think that decision is going to be made for you, Alexis. I mean, if for some reason Keenan does, I would go Keenan over McLaurin, but I just don't see it happening. I think there's a chance he just gets shut down for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you have to keep in mind, I mean, they play Saturday too, and he hasn't got it at full practice. So today was like your typical Thursday practice, which is one that we actually care about for them because they play on Saturday, and he didn't practice. And so, I mean, he basically has until tomorrow. And if he doesn't practice on Thursday, then you can pretty much roll him out. He's probably not going to play on Saturday. I don't expect him to play. So at this point, I think we would have heard something that maybe there's a shot. There's just no reason to have him go out there and play. Like, he's not playing for anything. They're not playing for anything. He's 31 years old. Like, why? Like, what's the point of just running his ass out there? And so like I said, I highly doubt he plays the rest of the year. I think eventually probably they just throw him on IR and shut him down because what's the point at this rate? I know it sucks for people that own him and have him, but with where this team is, it's tough to trust them, or it's tough to even think about putting him out there. At this point, it's time to reload a little bit. I mean, this team, the Chargers have a lot of talent. Like this team should be so much
Every
better
year.
than it is. But yeah, it is. It's right. They are the preseason darling every year that everybody gets excited about them. Everybody wants to put them up there, and they always fail. But hopefully they can find the right coach. I think it's going to be Ben Johnson. I think it's going to be the next core, which would be real smart for him. Obviously, being able to go over and coach Justin Herbert. I mean, you're not going to want to go into a situation where you're not sure who the quarterback is. I mean, this is one of the best situations you could possibly have, with this offense and with having Justin Herbert already installed. So I think Ben Johnson makes the most sense for him to go over there and take over this job. Offensive minded coach. So we'll see. But anyways, Trojan 3659 with a $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Hope you are doing well there, Trojan. Start 2 running backs: Gibbs, Henry, Bijan, Javonte, and Chandler.
This is going to be Gibbs and Henry for me. But I think if I remember correctly, we were pretty split on the Henry ranking. So I know you're going Gibbs. Who's your 2 here?
Ty Chandler. And then at wide receiver, you have Devonta, Garrett, Ridley, Higgins, Godwin. It's Higgins.
It's going to be Higgins and Smitty for me. Or actually, sorry, no, that's wrong. Higgins and Ridley. Sorry. Higgins and Smitty. If Lawrence plays, Higgins and Ridley.
I'm going to go Higgins and Godwin. And then I'm going to flex.
I see flex. So Higgins, Devonta, Ridley. If Lawrence doesn't play, then it's going to be Godwin in the flex for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Gibbs and Chandler, and then Higgins and Godwin, and I'm gonna flex Bijan Robinson, and then just jump off a bridge.
Close your eyes and pray.
It's just so. I mean, you're in the fantasy playoffs, right? And so you kind of have to bet for all ceiling here, right? There's no next week. There's no, whatever here. And so like I'm just purely looking on players that I think that have the best ceiling within this game environment. And like Devonta scares the hell out of me because he just hasn't really got there, with everybody back, and their offense has looked really bad. Now this is a decent spot to get right. Going against the Giants. The Giants defense I think is better than people give them credit for, but they are also not necessarily a defense that we're scared of either. And then you have Garrett, which I'm not trusting at all. I think he has extremely capped ceiling. If you were looking for a floor, maybe you could look for him because he does still see a strong target share, but the offense is still really bad. And then at the running back position, I can't play Javonte just because I don't love them. The Patriots' run defense has still been really good this year. Now, I do think they'll have a positive game script, which is when you want to play them. It's kind of what I've been saying for the last month when you want to play Javonte, and we kind of saw it last week. Against the Lions, they fell behind, and Javonte was kind of game scripted out, didn't really get much opportunity, and so it pretty much killed him last week with his 4 fantasy points. And while I don't expect that to happen this week, I think the Broncos could definitely win this game, but the Patriots have been so good against the run, it makes it hard to really fall in love with them, and their offense isn't that explosive either to be able to get down there and put up a lot of points. So I'm not as high on him. Derrick Henry is super concerning because last week was a positive game script, and he still wasn't a player that saw a ton of touch. I think he had like 9 carries or something like that. It wasn't very much. I know that. But he still wasn't a player that saw, this massive workload or anything, even though the game script would have dictated that. And so I'm just not excited at all about Derrick Henry at this point. I think he can reach that. We've seen him before be able to fall into the end zone, but I don't know what kind of ceiling he provides. I don't think he has a 25, 30 point, ceiling in him at this point, the way that Tyjae Spears is mixing in and everything. So with Bijan, I know it's tough because we've seen this play out here, but at this point, he's kind of playing for his job now. So can you continue to play with this stupid way of going about things and giving Tyler Algier and Cordell Patterson, or do you just get right and do the right thing? So when I look at this, like that's kind of the way that I look at all these guys that I think. And Ridley, if Trevor Lawrence was playing, I would be much higher on Calvin Ridley because of all the injuries they have. But I don't think he's going to play. I don't think that we're going to see Trevor Lawrence play. At least right now, it doesn't look like he's going to. Because I don't think he practiced today, which you want to see at least a limited practice. So we haven't really talked about it yet, but Michael Pittman got in a limited practice today. Now it was a walkthrough, but they still listed him as limited. All the reports that he's making good progress. So that tells me I am much more optimistic about Michael Pittman playing this week than I am anybody else. Like if you can get that first Wednesday limited, as long as now he has 2 days, he just has to get in a full practice and he'll be cleared. So I do feel pretty good about Michael Pittman's chances of playing this weekend. But other people, if you don't practice on Wednesday, it's really hard for you to get there. Tomorrow is huge for Trevor Lawrence because if Trevor Lawrence doesn't get in a limited practice tomorrow, you can pretty much cancel him out. Victor, full PPR, pick 2. Appreciate the super chat. DK Olave, and Olave did return to practice today, so that's positive. Bijan, Kupp, and Pittman. Man.
Locking in Kupp.
Uh-huh. I'm going to go with Michael Pittman if he plays. Or Michael Pittman as long as he plays. If he doesn't play, I'm going to go with Olave. Oh, we can't. Olave plays tomorrow. Fuck.
I'm going to go Kupp and DK. It's a slightly more difficult matchup for Pittman. The Falcons have been pretty good against outside receivers for the majority of the year. I like this spot for the Seahawks. So I ranked Pittman this week as if he were going to play, and I have DK like 2 or 3 spots ahead of him. Super close. Kupp I'm locking in, and then I'm going to go DK slightly over Pittman.
So I have Pittman ahead of DK. I have Pittman at 12, and I have DK at 14.
Okay. Vitor, where are you from? I'm curious what this R is in front of the $sign. I've been trying to. Is that Russian? Is it rupee? I don't know.
I'm not even gonna take a swing.
I've never seen this before, so I'm really curious where you're tuning in from.
But yeah, so man, this tough. I would hate this decision every single week with this group because it's a lot of really solid options here. And I'm curious, who else are you starting, by the way, with this many options? I'm just curious especially because this feels like maybe these are flex options with Bijan being in the mix. So I'm just curious who else you have.
Brazil. So I was not
even close. No. Not even in the
right area.
Nope. So, yeah. Just let us know if you can. I'm curious about that. Alexa, I'm so excited for the Ravens and 49ers on Christmas night. Doesn't get much better than that. Yes, go 49ers.
It's Kyren, Etienne, and DJ Moore.
Okay.
Whoops. Yes, I would keep it. I wouldn't change anything from my answer with that in there because I do have DJ Moore and DK ahead of Pittman. Really close. They're all jumbled really closely there from like
I think I actually would make a change, and I don't know if I would start Travis Etienne over these group.
I mean, I'm not starting Bijan over ETN. So you're still left with I think the biggest discussion is with the wide receivers, right? And then you're still left with the same issue because then even if
You're definitely
let's say
playing DJ Moore. Like DJ Moore's a lock. He's a top 10 wide receiver, so he's not even a question.
Kyron is our RB2 on the week, so he's
Oh yeah, for
not in
sure.
question. So it sounds like you would potentially start Bijan over ETN. I would keep ETN, and then I'm still going DK and Cup with DJ Moore.
I would go Cup and Pittman. Pittman has been undervalued this year. Like if we take out the injury and say he plays this week, right? Pittman has been just as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown and a lot of these other these other elite wide receivers that we just are automatic plays. Like, would you sit if it was Amon-Ra St. Brown? Would you sit Amon-Ra St. Brown? Because I don't think most people would, but like people just don't look at Pittman that way. But like he gets this elite target share. He has been matchup proof. Like there has been nobody that's been able to shut him down. And we've heard from a couple of different weeks like that was the team's goal was they were going to do anything they can to shut him down, and they still were not able to because they're smart with him and they move him all around the formation. He's not stuck to one side, and so like he's just been, even last week. I mean, he was on his way to having a very, very solid game, right? I mean, he was 4 for 78 in the first half. Like he would have smashed last week. And if you look at his production, I mean, you have to go all the way back to week 5 where he scored 10 PPR points, where he was the wide receiver 33. Other than that, it's 9, 17, 14, 13, 16, 12, 9, 10, and then 30 last week when he got knocked out. I mean, he has been incredible this year. I mean, he has been super consistent this year. Where DK, what worries me about him is he's so hit or miss. He's like, and there's been way more down than there has been up with him. He had that one monster game a couple of weeks ago where he scored, that 37. But other than that, I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of games where he's scored above even 15 fantasy points on the season. So he's a little bit capped. I mean, he could definitely get there. He's shown a ceiling for sure, but he just worries the hell out of me that to be able to get there. And so that's the only thing about DK Metcalf. And what worries me is if the Titans can't push Seattle, then they're probably not going to open up the offense, and you're probably not going to see that many targets, and it's going to be very spread out between JSN and DK and Tyler Lockett, and then also utilizing the running backs and stuff like that. That's the only thing that worries me with him. I don't think he has the kind of ceiling that the other guys do. So that's my thought.
Appreciate you, Tour.
Our favorite guy
America's
here,
team.
America's team. Hey guys, if you remember my keeper question about JJ, CMC, and CeeDee Lamb, would you answer change if we were only keeping that player next year? Mitch doesn't want someone keeping some same player for years.
Sounds like your commission sucks.
Yeah. You know what you should do? You should start your own league, and you should be the commissioner of it, because that is so stupid. What's the point of a keeper league?
There needs to be a coup. And you
yeah,
need to
like
lead,
that's dumb. Like, and it can't just be on a whim. Like, you have to go into the year knowing, like, this is the parameters. Like, this is what it is, and this is what it is. You can't change it now. And if anything does change, especially something like this, it has to be done with a vote. Like, you can't do it where the commissioner just is the end all be all. This is a dictatorship, right? And so, like, this, you guys should vote, which is what we do in our keeper league every year before the season. If anybody has stuff they want to add, like, whenever we were originally a standard league and we want to change PPR and then, like, trying to get them to go from a rolling waiver to a fab waiver, we put it up for a vote. Hey, this is what we're going to do. Let's vote. Everybody votes on it. If everybody's cool with it, then fine. And if it passes, then we're good. If it doesn't, but a commissioner cannot just, especially wide sweeping changes, and say you can't keep more than somebody for more than 1 year. No, that's stupid. Like that's a bad rule. Like if you came into the league saying, because there is leagues that are like that you have like contracts on players and like most of it's like 3 years that you can keep a player. And so then you start to have to make those decisions as they get closer to there where you can trade somebody and kind of do some different things there where it gets a little bit more interesting, but it's a lot harder to keep up with. But there are leagues that are like that, but you can't just all of a sudden willy-nilly be like, actually, no, you can't keep anybody past but 1 year. Like that's not the way this works.
Having said that, if I'm only keeping them for 1 year, I probably would lean. No, I think Para, you had said like you don't have to make this decision until like the day of the draft, I believe, from last week. If that's the case, it's probably Justin Jefferson, assuming that they have a good situation there at quarterback. If they don't, then it would be CMC for me. He has not really seemed to have fallen off yet. There's nothing we can look at to say like, oh, it's coming. Could it be an injury? Sure, but outside of that, like CMC is going to be the guy. Like I said, especially if it's just like if Kirk Cousins isn't there, basically, I would lean CMC.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I think I've went on way too many rants, so we should probably start catching up because I think we've only
It's
gotten through like 3 questions. So we'll be here. We'll be here till tomorrow if I keep going on these rants. Sorry. Also, cover Pippen. Yeah, it's Cup for both of us. Both of us have Cup
yeah.
ahead. So yes, I would go Cup here. Jacob asked this question at Discord earlier, but wanted to hear thoughts from both of you. Have to start one. Connor Stevenson if he plays, Keenum or Rudolph in my super flex. Lost Stroud and Ritter.
So I didn't remember seeing Keenum. Jacob, I would go Keenum here in the Superflex. Stevenson, I think, was a DNP again, or today. I can't remember if they practiced yesterday or not, but he was at least a DNP today. Chicago, really good defense, not going there. Rudolph, sure as hell, not going there. Not that the Browns are a picnic or a cakewalk or anything like that, but I would go Keenum over those other options.
I would go
Especially if
too.
Nico Collins can make it back.
Yeah, and it's positive. He actually got he was also somebody that he got in a limited practice also today, so that is a positive for him as well. He's out there on the first day of practice, so yeah. So I think that is a positive for them. I mean, it's kind of a must-win game. They're kind of in that range where they're 8-6, and they can kind of control their own destiny, but at the same time, a loss is really going to hurt because there's so many teams that are jumbled up right there. So yeah. Jeff, can I trust Saquon this week versus Philly or start Ty Chandler?
I would go Ty Chandler.
So, okay.
I don't want to overreact to 1 week. But having said that, I don't understand the move to having Matt Breida coming in and running a bunch of routes and taking one of the third down work. And I saw this question and I started looking. You would in this type of situation, you would hope that like, okay, well, even if they get from behind, Saquon Barkley, explosive, dynamic athlete, going to use him in the passing game. We really haven't seen that. There has been one game all year where he's seen more than 5 targets. Now, is that like a high bar for a running back? Sure, but that's the kind of target share he should be getting, especially in this offense where they have no wide receivers to speak of, and Darren Waller just came back, and he has had 3 games, I think, with more than 25 receiving yards. I think this could be a situation where we see the Eagles just boat race them. Thought that would be the case with Seattle last week, but this really feels like a spot where Philly's going to want to get up and just put their foots on the throats of the Giants. And if that happens, I mean, like I said, we saw that last week, kind of with the Giants trailing to the Saints, and we saw Matt Breida and then even Eric Gray at the end of the game starting to get some runs. So I would just go Ty Chandler here because it seems like even if Alexander Mattison is able to play in this game, that Kevin O'Connell has already come out and said that Ty Chandler is going to be the guy. So I don't really have any questions as far as his workload goes. So I would go Ty Chandler here. I know the Philly run defense has not been what it has been, but I just think that this is going to be a game where Philly jumps out to a lead quickly, and like I said, Barkley just does not have the targets to his name this year. He has his most was 7 targets, and that was back in week 2.
Right. Well, I mean, I think some of it too is just by design because I mean, if you look, I mean, he still has he still has a 19% target per route run rate, and he has a 13% target share within the offense. Even recently, I mean, week 14, he had a 20% target share, 9% target share the week before that. But then before that, it's 20, 13, 14, 36, 15, 17, 21, and 14%. It's not necessarily, it's just the way the offense has been this year. Um, and they're also spreading the ball out a ton. But last week, I think more had to do with the fact that he only played 49% of the snaps. And I think that's because they were getting blown out. I think that had more to do with it than anything,
Exactly.
right? And now, could that happen again this week? Sure. It's just hard to trust somebody. I mean, because I will also say the Lions' run defense has also been really good for the most part. Their one issue that they've given up touchdowns, but other than that, that's been really their problem. I mean, the Lions have allowed the 10th fewest rushing yards per game. They've also allowed, but they have allowed the 12th most rushing touchdowns. So, if you want to go Ty Chandler, I'm not against it because he is somebody that saw last week 81% of the snaps, 82% of the rush attempts with a 12% target share last week. He looks super explosive, so I don't mind it. I think ceiling play, it's probably maybe he goes in Ty Chandler's favor just because of the offense, like I've said, that he's in. A game that game scripts a little bit more favorably for them as well compared to Saquon Barkley. But on the flip side, like we talked about with Saquon Barkley, that this Eagles defense has really struggled against the run. I mean, over the last 4 games, they have allowed the 8th most rushing yards, the 9th highest explosive run rate, and 6 touchdowns. So I do think this is a good bounce back spot for Saquon. But you're right. Anything can happen here, and if it's possible the Eagles get back on track and they blow them out, and we see the similar situation. So that could be possible. So I think if you wanted to go Ty Chandler, I think you can, but I would also hate it if Saquon went out and scored 25 and Ty Chandler scores 10. Like it is a tougher matchup.
Murdoch.
Oh my god, so they're waiting forever. Puka or
Well,
McBride?
at first, I thought I froze because you weren't moving. And I was like, shit, is this happening again? And I
No,
was
I
like,
just had
wait, was I supposed to? I was like,
yeah.
was he waiting for me to say so? I already said what I was going to say. Yeah, okay. Murdoch.
I can't do it. Puka or McBride in the flex. I have Laporta at tight end, hoping Tyreek plays. I think Tyreek plays.
I think Tyreek plays. I'm also hoping he plays. Murdoch just lost Chase on a dynasty team as well, so I need Tyreek to be Tyreek this week. But I think we get it. I think we get it. And I would go McBride over Puka.
Yeah, I think I would too. McBride's just been so damn good and gets just
It's,
absolutely peppered with targets every single game. So,
I
like,
think
it's
this sets up as another Cooper Cup week. The Saints can be had in the slot. McBride, it's just really hard to not plug McBride in there. I mean, he is seeing wide receiver 1 usage and wide receiver 1 fantasy points in production.
yeah. Jeff, Broncos or Browns? This is Broncos for me.
Broncos.
Kyler or Flacco? This is Kyler for me.
Kyler.
Yeah. Broncos or Colts?
Broncos.
Agreed.
Same question Jeff had.
Yeah.
Broncos for both of us.
Ron, need 2 for the flex. Noah Brown, Ty Chandler, Zeke, Jacoby Myers, Jaden Reed. Also, Sam Howell or Nick Mullins.
Ty Chandler And then if Jaden Reed plays, it's Jaden Reed. If not, it would be Jacoby Myers for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Ty Chandler, and then I agree. I think I'm gonna go Jaden Reed as well with that one as well. As long as he plays, if he doesn't, then I would plug in Zeke. And then at quarterback, I'm gonna go Nick Mullins.
I haven't seen anything. Have they said anything whether or not Sam Howell is back to being the starter? They're going to turn to Brissett.
I haven't seen anything in regards to that. I think they should probably look at Brissett. I mean, Brissett actually played really well last year, for the most part. Whenever he got a chance last year, and I mean, they gave him a spark for sure. But I don't know. But it's against the Jets out on the road. I don't love it for any of them. So, yeah, KD, I know I was muted. Okay, Eddie, great show. More thumbs up for the stream boys. Absolutely, Eddie, 100%. What he said. I appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a great Christmas. Okay, hope everybody has a great Christmas this weekend. If you celebrate, maybe some people don't. I don't want to sit there and hate everybody into a box. But if you do, hope everybody has a good weekend. Even if you don't, it is a great weekend for football. There's football, like I said, all weekend. So at least there's that. But hope everybody does have a good Christmas. Hope everybody enjoys spending time with their families. And if you have kids, hopefully they enjoy their Christmas as well. That's really what we do it for anyway, right? Right. Andrea, hi everyone. Need two. Mostert, Pacheco, Bijan, McKinnon, PPR. It's gonna be the first two for me. Mostert and Pacheco.
First two.
We're just gonna let's see. Andrea, Ferguson, or Likely. This is gonna be Likely for me.
Yeah. I think it's close. It's really close for me. But I would lean Likely. That's really close.
CHB. I'm not gonna say even. We're not entertaining that. Ezekiel. Hello guys. Jared Goff or Dak Prescott. This is Dak.
I'm gonna go Dak here. Yeah. I know it wasn't great for Dak last week, but I think he bounces back. And I also think the fact that they're going to be playing in a 70-degree outdoor game versus the cold in Buffalo can help with some of Dak's road woes.
Trung, yeah. Not sure if Keenan will play. Who should I sub in? DeMarcus, Gabe, Jameson, or Parker Washington? Rough in these streets.
Man.
I think I would go. If Trevor Lawrence is somehow able to make it back for this game, which I am not anticipating at this point, but if he does, I mean, there's been I thought he wasn't going to play when he suffered the high ankle sprain after that week, and he was able to make it back. Now, obviously, this is different, but if Trevor Lawrence plays, I think you have to go Parker Washington here because of the injuries that they have. Because Gabe is so hit or miss, and that's really the problem with this. Plus, the matchup is this another week where they can kind of do what they did last week against the Cowboys, and they just cruise. They run the ball a lot. They don't really have to open this thing up. I expect Josh Allen's going to throw more than 100 yards, but than he did last week.
15 times.
Yeah, but still at the same time, it is tougher to trust Gabe. Though Gabe does have a pretty good ceiling whenever he hits it, but him hitting it is not great. Jameson Williams is kind of really hit or miss because he doesn't see a large volume of targets. I know Demarcus Robinson has kind of gotten there through touchdowns the last few weeks, but I don't know if I can trust that for Demarcus Robinson. And then Parker Washington. But I will say if Trevor Lawrence, which you will know, I know Demarcus Robinson plays tomorrow night. Like I've said, like if Trevor Lawrence doesn't practice tomorrow at all, then I would be highly concerned that he's probably not going to play. So you're going to be able to make that decision. If that's the case, then maybe you do just go. Maybe you look to go Demarcus Robinson or Gabe Davis. I'd probably still lean Gabe Davis though.
If you just need a floor and Zay Jones is out, I think I would lean Parker Washington. If not, I would go Gabe Davis. I think one of the things that's kind of being lost in the shuffle with DeMarcus is the fact that Tutu Atwell has been missing some time with a concussion, but he has been a full go all 3 days. So I'm assuming Tutu Atwell comes back, and that means that those two at least split some of the snaps. So I would lean Gabe by a smidge over Parker Washington just in a vacuum. But like if like you feel okay about your matchup and you just need some safe points, I would lean Parker Washington. But otherwise, I would go Gabe here. It just feels like Gabe Davis can't go like 4 straight weeks giving you a donut, right? Like I feel like, and also
when everybody's off Gabe Davis is when Gabe Davis does well. Like when nobody wants to play Gabe Davis, when Gabe Davis has a big game. When everybody wants to play Gabe Davis, you just fade him. Like those are the rules. Like it has been proven time and time again. When Gabe Davis is popular, it's not Gabe Davis week. When Gabe Davis is not popular, it's Gabe Davis week. Andrea, need to flex JT, Achane, Addison, Zay Flowers, McKinnon, McBride, half point PPR. So this is definitely going to be JT for me. And then I think I'm going to go McBride. I think Achane's definitely in the conversation for sure. But also, I mean, McBride's just been so. I mean, he's putting up, every other week.
And he has a ceiling too. It's not just like, hey, you can plug him in, you're getting 5 for 50 every week. He has a ceiling. He's putting up 20 point, even in half PPR. So I think I'm with you, but Achane would be my third over the rest of that group.
Yes. I do like Achane. I think Achane's very boomer bust, and we obviously know Achane definitely has a ceiling. But it could also go the other direction too. Tony, pick 2. Bijan, Cook, James Cook, Achane, Monty. So lock in James Cook for sure. He's a top 5 running back for me this week.
Cook and Achane for me. I have Achane over Monty this week.
I have Bijan ahead of them, so I'm going to go with Bijan and James Cook. Bryce, hey fellas, when I first saw this, whenever I was getting to it, I thought he said I'm fading CMC. And I was like, what are we doing, Bryce? And I saw, facing CMC. Amon-Ra, AJ, and Rachaad White need help, please.
Does not make you feel warm and fuzzy.
Nope. 2 running backs and a flex. Amari, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker, Hubbard, and Monty. Then a QB, Dak or Mahomes. Ooh. That's actually really close. I have Dak at 3 and Mahomes at 4. So, but I would go Dak on that.
I would go Mahomes.
It is a home matchup against the Raiders. So I don't mind that, but anyways, and then the 2 running backs is going to be Hubbard and Kenneth Walker. And then I'm going to flex Amari Cooper.
If I am swinging for the fences here, I'm going to go Aaron Jones and Ken Walker. or the Titans' run defense has kind of gotten back to what we thought it was going to be, what it was last year. It's been a really strong unit, but I don't think that the Seahawks are going to be out of this game, right? Like I don't think it's going to be a situation where they're going to have to go to Zach Charbonnet. So I still think that this is a matchup where Ken Walker could see, let's say 17 carries, 15 plus, and all he needs is to break that one. He gets at least a handful of targets. He looked pretty good against Philadelphia. So if I'm swinging and I'm looking I'm looking across the table and I'm just seeing that murderer's row, I'm swinging for the fences and I am taking Ken Walker and Aaron Jones, who I think has the best matchup of the group. And then flexing Amari.
Paul Wall.
What to do, baby? It's the Iceman, Paul Wall.
Flexing my lineup, 2-quarterback league. Minshew, Evans, DJ, CMC, Rashad White, Ingram, DK, Trevor Lawrence, bench, Connor Schultz, and Njoku, Brown, Mullins. Look good.
Oh boy. Who's B Brown? Why am I not thinking of?
I was curious. Maybe that's supposed to be Noah Brown. Maybe in Brown.
The B and the N are close to each other on the old keyboard. So maybe that is it. Good call. Okay, so in a super flex, obviously if Lawrence plays, you're plugging in Lawrence and Minshew. But you have some really good options here that I don't think you have to just plug in Mullins just because it's super flex. Okay, never mind. I see. That was my bad.
I would play Mullins over Minshew. Let me put it that way. Now you may not have to worry about it if Trevor Lawrence is out, you may be forcing to play him. But I would play Mullins over Minshew if it was me.
I can get behind that.
And then I think there's a real argument to be made. Now, is Njoku over Evan Ingram? I mean, David Njoku has been an absolute baller recently. Really with Flacco. So, been the tight end too each of the last 2 games with 21 and 16 points. Evan Ingram obviously didn't do anything last week. And then the week before, obviously, he had his really good game. But especially if Trevor Lawrence is out. If Trevor Lawrence misses, then I'm 100% playing Njoku over Ingram. And I still think there's an argument to be made for Njoku over Ingram as is, whether he plays or not. I mean, he's just been really one of the main targets, if not the main target for Joe Flacco. And so I think he would be a better play than Evan Ingram would be anyway. So I think you could look there. But other than that, the rest of it, I'm not making any changes with.
So where I was going to go with that was if Lawrence is out, I think I would put Njoku in the Superflex. That's where I was going to go. Run Mullins and then flex Njoku over Minshew.
I mean, I think I would still go Minshew. It's just it's really hard for me to want to sit a quarterback. Like it would have to be like you'd have to be talking about like I don't know Mitchell Trubisky or something out there. Like then I can easily make a case for somebody else. Like Minshew. While Minshew hasn't been great, I mean he still hasn't had a whole lot of games. I mean in terms of just fantasy points, he only has 2 games all year where he's scored less than 10 PPR points or 10 points. I mean, for the most part, he's getting you at least, 15, 16, 17 fantasy points every single week. And so, even though that's not like a great ceiling, I mean, Njoku could certainly miss that, you know? And so I don't think I could sit Minshew or Mullins for that. I would just swap Ingram for Njoku. But other than that, I think it's a good lineup. PPR leading Lamb, Higgins, Evans, and Pittman. If Pittman is out, flex Ridley, Kincaid, or Gus Edwards. This I probably would just go Ridley if Pittman were to miss. Tony, Browns or Bears D?
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
I'm going to go Browns here on this one.
I'm going to go Bears. It's close.
And it was Noah Brown. Yep. See, it was Noah Brown.
Guess if we just would have
scrolled down a couple, we would have saw
that.
Yeah. Ooh.
Took us all that time.
I don't know if you're still in here, Money Mans, but we got X questions now, I guess. You can ask a question, Money Mans, for sure. Just drop it in there. I saw that today. They finally fixed their algorithm, so now you can actually ask questions through there now instead of it just not showing up. So that's good. Too Hype. Gentlemen, great show. Great to have you here, Too Hype. Big week, absolutely. Half-point PPR, need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex among Mixon, Hall, Ford, Chandler, then Hall, or then Tyreek, Metcalf, Higgins, Thielen. Got Tua at quarterback, Bills D, and Tucker at kicker. Playoffs, absolutely. So at running back,
playoffs,
I would go Mixon and Chandler.
I really feel like this is a good game for Breece Hall. I feel like it's a good spot for him. I'm going to go Mixon and Hall. But Chandler is right there.
And then wide receiver and the flex, I'm going Tyreek, Metcalf, and Higgins.
Yeah.
And now, if for whatever reason Tyreek didn't play, which I expect him to, I know he didn't practice today. I'm not worried about that with him today. He is somebody that misses a lot of Wednesday practice. This doesn't really matter. Tomorrow is the day that we really were looking at. But if he for some reason didn't play, then I'd probably go and plug in Breece Hall. If he didn't.
Yeah, then I would flex Chandler. Yep.
Julian. Ooh, look at that Avi. That is a fresh Avi there, Julian, with the Chiefs Super Bowl champions with Chris Jones and Patty Mahomes. Oh man.
There's gonna be Geno Smith.
Oh, we're just okay. I see what you did there.
Yeah, we don't.
we don't need none of that.
We don't need to hear your pants unzippering as you're talking, as you're rattling off the names of these players. So I just want to nip that in the bud. Geno.
Yeah, I'll go Geno as long as he starts, as long as he's going to be the starter. It's kind of tough, man, with Drew Lock coming in, just throwing that dime back of the end zone to go away from him. But yeah, I get it. Yeah, you should do that. Hoosier, what up, fellas? What up, Hoosier? Besides travesty, is there a term for your bench outscoring your starters? I had Goff, Devin Singletary, Chandler, Palmer, Connor, and Houston D with 130 on my bench.
Unfortunate. And not a word, but if you could combine, I hope it wasn't our fault.
Yeah, that's brutal. Is that
Brutal. That's
bullshit? Um, yeah, a lot of different words. Other words?
dick punch. If you hyphenate it, it's a dick punch.
Yeah.
Also, Penn State picking up Hoosiers' old head coach for their DC.
Well, look, we learned something. I'm from
We
Brazil,
did.
by the way. The currency here is real. Probably not how you pronounce it, but
Is it like Real? Maybe.
that's what I was thinking. But I'm also a white guy from the Midwest, so
Try not to make words too exotic when I don't have to.
happy to have you here, though. I do appreciate the
Yes.
questions, and hopefully you stick around past this week and win, and see you next week. Nino, with Stroud out again, I need another quarterback this week. Stafford, Flacco, or Browning?
We go Stafford.
Yeah, especially with Chase out, like it makes it a little less exciting to play Jake Browning. I know Joe Flacco has just played really well each of the last 3 weeks that he's played. But yeah, I think I agree. I think I think I would go Stafford here. Rico in a tough situation.
Rico.
Start 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1 flex. Running back Paul, Kyron, JT. So it's going to be the last 2. It's going to be Kyron and JT for me.
Yes.
And then at wide receiver, 3 wide receivers. You're going to play Lamb. We're going to play Rice, Diggs, Olave. I think you still go Diggs, but I think there is actually a case to be made for Chris Olave.
What I'm going to do here is I'm going to sit Olave and I'm going to play both tight ends. I'm going Laporta, McBride, Lamb, Rice, Diggs, Kyron, JT.
I think I'm going to go Lamb, Rice, and Diggs, and then I'm going to go with Laporta, and I'm going to sit McBride for Chris Olave. Also, another start sit question: Bijan or Gibbs? I'm going to go Gibbs.
Gibbs.
Itty bitty South City 650 championship week for my 14 team half point PPR. Stafford or Murray? This is going to be Murray for me.
I'm going to go Stafford.
McBride or Likely? This is McBride.
McBride.
Hill and DJ Moore are my wide receivers. Kyron Williams, JT, Hall, Rice, Davis need to start 2 running backs, 1 flex.
So first 2 running backs, and I'm going to flex Rice. That is a really nice team in a 14-teamer.
It's really nice.
Yeah. There had to been some trades here. There's no way this is a draft team. Although, I mean, I guess,
I was going to say, because you have to remember,
yeah,
Rashee Rice was a very late round pick. JT fell.
depending
Kyron Williams was
on-
a very late round pick or
Yeah.
undrafted. McBride, same thing. Likely, same thing. I mean, Murray was obviously picked up later.
I guess it could be. Yeah.
This
Good
is
for
what you
you.
call working the waiver wire really well. Or drafting really well. One or the
Or
other.
drafting, yeah.
Or both.
Yeah. Why not all 3? And then it's going to be Chicago for me at defense.
Yeah. Josh. Hey, man. Hope you're having a good evening. I hope you're having a good evening, too, Josh.
You too, Josh.
Need some lineup advice. Full PPR, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, 1 tight end. Bijan, Kyron, Singletary, Walker, AJ Brown, Puka, Metcalf, McBride, Likely. So let's start with the running backs. It's going to be Kyron and Bijan. And then the wide receivers are AJ Brown and Metcalf.
Yep.
And then I'm going to flex Puka.
And then
McBride, yes.
Good luck, Josh.
Andrea, need one wide receiver, one flex. Chris Olave, Smith, Bijan, McKinnon. This is going to be Olave and Bijan for me.
I'm going to go Olave and Smitty.
Ezekiel, thank you guys. One more. Dalton Kincaid or Gerald Everett. I was trying to figure out what that was too. But I can't really tell what that is.
A snake, maybe? A dragon? A T-Rex? I think if I'm looking at it, I think I see some like teeth, right?
Yep. There's some teeth. And then, yeah, it looks like maybe, yeah.
Looks like some horns up top.
Yep. This could be
Anyway.
Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Kincaid. I don't think you get a zero burger out of Kincaid again.
Thanks, guys. I know it's ugly in these streets. Appreciate you. We call him Troll Davis. That's also a very good name.
Apt.
Tyler, Zeke or Monty? I'm going to go Monty, but I think there is a really good case for Ezekiel Elliott.
I'm going to go Monty as well.
And then Bears or Packers defense. I'm going to go Packers.
Packers.
And then
we're split on this one.
Yeah, I'm Tyler. Pittman.
And I would go Metcalf. I have Metcalf, I think, 2 spots ahead of Pittman, 2 or 3 spots. So it's really, really close.
And then Tua or Kyler?
Tua.
Yeah, I agree on that. And then Tyler, again, Goff, Love, or Stafford? I'm going to go Goff here.
Who do the Packers have? Panthers. I'm going to go give me Stafford.
Hoosier, I still managed to win 108-82, so think light dick punch is the most accurate. Also, not our fault. Always appreciate y'all. From Tom Allen. Appreciate you there, Hoosier. Hopefully, let's rebound this week, can we? Shall we? Have a little rebound, a little redemption.
At least you won. That would be the absolute worst to see all those points chilling on your bench.
That's why this time of the year is like the worst. And I
think I have come around to the playoffs there should be no matchups in the playoffs. I think you just do it by points and you eliminate, depending on however many teams are in your playoffs, the lowest scoring teams, like 2 a week, whatever it is, until you get to your finals. So I think if you would do, depending on however many buys you want to give, you could do 2 each week, assuming like 6 teams, and then have, you know what I mean? Or you do 1 buy, 2 each week, and then your final is a 3-team playoff. There's just so much variance, and like, no matter how much you're paying attention, no matter how much research you're doing, I don't think people want to admit how much luck is involved in fantasy football. There is so much fucking luck involved in fantasy football. So I think like once if I'm going to be creating any leagues going forward, my finals, my playoffs will be points based.
So there's clearly luck, and the luck thing involved. A lot of it is just your matchup and how it falls, right? Because like we don't have any control. Obviously, we have control over what the players do. But my point is that like, even like throughout the regular season, like it's why we see so often with fantasy football where like you see guys that have scored by far the most points in the league and somehow miss the playoffs, and then the opposite of that where teams score absolutely the lowest amount of points and then end up making the playoffs. Like it's all about like who you're playing that week and everything else. It's just luck of the draw of who you're playing. I mean, there's so many weeks that or the weeks where you score the second most points and you happen to be playing that person who scored the most points. You would have beat everybody else in the league that week. Like there's so many different things when it comes to it that yes, like on a certain week, and really the same thing goes for the fantasy playoffs. It's 1 week, and
Yeah.
and it's the way that it goes, and so it's super frustrating. And this last week, it almost feels like it happens like every year, where like you just have like these huge disappointing weeks, and it's magnified obviously because there's no next week. It's in regular season, it's I lost this week or whatever. All right, we'll jump back in. We'll figure it out next week or whatever. I still think there is obviously an advantage to. It's not complete luck, and it's all just based on that because I think the people that can parse through data and that can um, kind of know what the right things to look for, follow the information and stuff like that, have an inherent advantage. Being early on guys like this year would have been like guys like Kyron Williams and Sam Laporta. And
Hold on, Kev. One. Let me stop you. How many times have you won your home league? Your
no, and that's what I'm talking about though. I'm not saying I'm talking about on a single week. Yes, a lot of luck is involved. What I'm talking about throughout the whole entire season and how you get
right.
there, there's way more that goes into it than it's just getting lucky. Like I've said, like I was trying to say, like sitting there and being able to I think being able to, actually identify these things and being able to be on these things, like it's a huge advantage. Like if you would have went into this year and you drafted Puka, you drafted Kyron Williams, right? Just those two alone were huge advantages. Like Kyron Williams has been a cheat code because he's the number two, running back, and he was largely undrafted, and or somebody that you could have picked in the later rounds. Like getting right those things. Like I honestly, like I think week 18 because we don't really do week 18 because we don't condone week 18 people playing fantasy football. I think we should go live. And the one thing I would like to do is I was thinking about this today is just like going through and talking about like all the lessons learned from this year and kind of how kind of apply some things for next year. I think would be a good topic because there's a lot of stuff that I've been kind of thinking about, like what can we learn from this year that happened that we can bring over to next year? Because I think there's a lot of different things. So this year was a pretty weird year.
I thought you were going to say go live, and anyone who asks a question, we just ridicule them.
Just throw stones at them.
Yeah, no, I would definitely not do away with matchups during like weeks 1 to 15 or 1 to 14, but 15 to 17 points.
You don't like the leagues that do like it's just a points league all year. It never goes away.
I mean they're okay. I wouldn't want that to be like to make up the majority of
I think the only
my
problem with
leagues.
it, when you can make an argument for, would be the only problem with it is it's like by week 8 or 9, your team, if you've had a really rough start, you're probably out of it. You're done, right? You're probably not going to be able to catch up. You're not going to be able to make up that kind of ground on people, and so it would probably just kind of kill the league after a certain point.
Yeah, I'm in a best ball dynasty league. And it's nice to have one of those where I don't have to. And there's 1 week where waivers run. And it's like after like week 8 or something like that. So it's nice. It's nice to have one of those leagues where like it's just points. I don't have to worry about lineups, anything like that. But I wouldn't want all of my leagues to be like that. I still like the idea of like matchups throughout the regular season. Like I will pound the table for this. The 6th spot or whatever, however many teams you have make your playoffs, that last spot should always be reserved for the team with the most points that's not yet in. One of my dynasty leagues actually goes like best record points, best record not yet in, most points not in. It alternates 1 through 6 that way. And I like that as well. But it's always making sure that that last seed is reserved for the team that had the most points but didn't make it. Because you can always look, and there's a team that had Kev, you're a team in the listener league, fourth most points scored in a 14-team league. You know, it's not like we were running an 8-team listener league. Like, you should have been in the playoffs.
And I wasn't. I think I finished like 9th or 10th, even though I scored the 4th most points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Where were we? In my bench house scored all but one team in the league.
Well, that's a good feeling.
It would have been if you got knocked out. That would have been
no, that would have been awful.
And then Trung, Tucker Kraft, or Hunter Henry. I'm gonna go Tucker Kraft.
I'm gonna go Henry if he plays. I know it is, very gross to trust anything from the Patriots, but the Broncos have allowed the most points to tight ends all year. So I just that matchup is really tasty to me.
And then Jeff need one wide receiver and a flex between DK, Noah Brown, or Zay Flowers. So basically, sit one.
Sitting Noah Brown.
If Nico Collins is out, I will sit Zay Flowers. If Nico Collins plays, I'll sit Noah Brown.
Yeah. Seems like Nico should be back, though.
MP, one flex, Addison, Jacoby, Eckler, Swift, Chuba, or Josh Palmer. I'm going Chuba here.
I'm gonna go Eckler. Kev, I know you put Eckler as I think an RB3 this week. I will say the one saving grace for Eckler this week, and again, we also have to operate under the assumption that are going to use him as such. But the one saving grace is that the Bills give up or have allowed the 4th most receiving yards to running backs on the season.
I do think there is the caveat that obviously they changed head coach, and so do things change or something like that, or do we see a shift in how things have been done here with this offense? But the other caveat is it's Easton Stick, and I don't love that either. So that's why it's really hard to sit as Eckler, right? We have seen him. I mean, just even a couple weeks ago, he scored 20 fantasy points. Like, he can get there. It's just so hard to trust because, I mean, other than that, he's been pretty bad for the most part this year. And I don't know if it's all because of him either. But that's the way I would go. But I don't hate it. If you want to go Austin Eckler, kind of swing for the fence here, I don't mind that either. McBride or Devontae Adams? I'm torn, but kind of feeling McBride.
I think I would go McBride. Devontae Adams got there last week. I was contemplating on playing him. Luckily, I did slide him into my lineup. But he also got his touchdown from Jacoby Myers. And they also hung up 63 points. And considering they hung up 63 points, like Devontae Adams, stat line, not that impressive. whatever you consider what they did, and with O'Connell having 4 touchdowns. I think McBride is the safer option, and I think they have similar ceilings.
Yeah, and I mean, the Chiefs have done a really good job. You're probably going to expect to see L'Jarius Sneed probably on him. The last time they played, he ended up with 5 catches for 73 yards, 12 fantasy points. The other tough part with Devontae Adams this year has been lack of touchdowns. He's only scored 5 all year, so it's a little bit tough him. But he is obviously seeing a lot of targets. He's already had 140 targets this year, but he's only turned that into 968 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like, you feel like somebody with 140 targets would probably a little higher than that, but it's not him, more so as just the offense in general. So Tyler, Ferguson, Kraft, Likely, or Goddard? This is Isaiah Likely for me.
Likely by a smidge.
McGuire outdoors, Purdy or Fields?
Oh boy.
I'm gonna go Fields here. It is tough because Justin Fields. Purdy has been really
Lights
good.
out. Yeah.
But this is really one of the really tougher matchups that he's. I mean, if you really peel back the curtains a little bit and look at to see who he's been doing this against, it's been against the bottom half of the league in terms of pass defenses, right? Jacksonville's terrible. Tampa Bay's pass defense is awful. Seattle pass defense is very beatable. I mean, even there, he didn't have to do a whole lot. They kind of ran up the score. Philadelphia's pass defense is notably terrible. Seattle again. And then Arizona's pass defense can easily be beat as well. And so that's what worries me. When we've seen him actually face like legitimate pass defenses, he hasn't been as great. Minnesota, he only put up 15. Cleveland, he put up 9. And Dallas, he only put up what did he put up against Dallas? Dallas is whatever they crushed him. But really, the two of the best pass defenses they faced against Cleveland and Minnesota, he didn't do a whole lot. I'm not saying that I think he's going to be a bust or he's going to have a really bad game. But he's also have to keep in mind that this has been an incredible stretch of just great pass defenses that he's faced, or great matchups for them. That's what worries me a little bit. Baltimore, their pass defense is generally pretty good. They can get a lot of pressure on him, and that's where he has struggled at times is against pressure. That's what would worry me about him. Fields could also not get there as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, but Fields at least gives you that upside of his rushing ability to still be able to create a pretty solid floor.
Slight lean to Fields.
James, Eagles defense or Texans? This is Eagles for me.
Eagles.
Mixon, Pacheco, or David Montgomery? I'm going to sit Monty.
First two.
Twitch.
Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, hey, what's up, Gronk? In here. Would you guys start Tua, Stafford, or Kyler? This is going to be Tua.
Tua.
Truth. Start 2 running backs, 1 flex. Taylor, Brees, Swift, Chuba, Stevenson if he plays, or Metcalf. It's going to be Taylor.
JT and Brees for me, and then Metcalf in the flex.
It's going to be JT and Chuba for me, and Metcalf in the flex. Augustin. Start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Kamara, Monty, Ty Chandler, Zach Moss, Javonte, Smith, Addison against Scary Terry London, and Reed. Running backs is going to be Kamara and Ty Chandler. Wide receiver is going to be Higgins and Devonta. And then I'm going to flex Jane Reed.
Flex Reed if he plays. If Reed does not play, then it would be Chandler.
Julian, great Abby, man. Great Abby there with that. This is going to be Waddle.
I would play Waddle over Stevenson even if Stevenson plays.
Yeah. Also got Andy Reid in there and Frank Clark. Simp. Full PPR, 2 flex between Bijan, Monty, Ridley, London, Palmer, Connor. It's going to be Bijan. And Monty for me.
If Lawrence plays, it's Bijan and Ridley. If he doesn't, Bijan and Monty, and then Broncos D.
Yeah, I agree for both. Start 1 defense. I got Jets, Browns, Green Bay. I picked up Green Bay because my opponent needs a defense this week. So whoever I choose, I need to drop one of his defenses on Saturday for a kicker.
I like the Jets.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that.
And then I think you could, Kevin, you go to pull up your kicker rankings. Truth, I would drop both defenses, and I would pick up skill position players, because obviously you need to make sure you get through this week. But if you do so, having that extra spot open for a skill position player, I'd probably look at picking up like a handcuff running back like a Rico Dowdle or somebody like that, and Chase Brown if Chase Brown is not yet rostered, just in the off chance something happens to the starter.
Yeah, and the top 5 kickers are Harrison Bucker, Brandon Aubrey, Tyler Bass, Justin Tucker, Jake Elliott. And then if you just were curious, past that, it's going to be Jake Moody, Dustin Hopkins, Will Lutz, Jason Sanders, Matt Gay, Jason Myers, and Young Wei Koo
There you go.
are the top 12. Worked the waiver wire and traded Achane, Najee, Devonta Smith for Ferguson, and Ferguson for Tyreek.
The fact that you gave up that much depth and still have the roster you have in a 14-teamer, well done.
Itty bitties out here playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
Well done.
Paven, appreciate y'all's help. Appreciate having you here. PPR looking to fill 2 flex positions between OBJ, Isaiah Likely, Romeo Dobbs, Josh Downs, JSN, Zamir White, Josh Palmer, or Noah Brown. I wish we could say Zamir White, but it really looks like Josh Jacobs is going to return this week. Bullshit. But
I would go. I think I would go Likely and Downs. I know it's really hard to trust Josh Downs. He literally hasn't done anything for legitimately 6 weeks. Talked about him on the wide receiver show last night. But the Falcons slot corner has given up the 5th most yards while in slot coverage. JSN, obviously, it's 3 weeks in a row now. Obviously, he had the touchdown last week. The 2 weeks before that, he led the Seahawks in targets back-to-back weeks. But I just don't know if they are going to be throwing a ton in this game. I think they get a lead on Tennessee, and I don't know that they're going to need to be running a bunch of 3 wide receiver sets. That's the only thing that keeps me a little bit lower on JSN. I think Odell could potentially be in play, but the corners for San Fran have been pretty solid outside of that 3-week stretch where they were just getting absolutely decimated by guys like Kirk Cousins and that stretch that they had where they dropped 3 in a row. So I think Likely sees more opportunity because of that.
I'm going to go Josh Palmer, assuming Keenan Allen's out, and Noah Brown.
So no help to PG here.
Yeah, I mean, if Keenan Allen plays, then I would pivot over to Isaiah Likely.
Are you still going Noah Brown if Nico's in?
If Nico plays, yeah, I mean, I still would. Yeah, I think I still would. Plus, I'm not sure if I should play Commanders, Bears, or Broncos. It's gonna be Broncos for me.
Broncos.
Andrea, thanks again. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope everybody does have a wonderful Christmas. So we're kind of a little ways caught up. I think we should have a little something I was thinking about today. It's a little quick fun. You know, we're not too far behind. We're right there. We should do a Christmas movie draft.
It's probably not going to get too far.
I mean, we're not going to go very far. Let's do top 5. We'll do top 5 picks, snake draft, or not snake. We'll just do top 5.
I don't know if I can name 10.
You don't have to
10 Christmas movies.
I'll give you the 101. How about that?
Bad Santa.
I knew that's what you were going to go with too. I'm gonna go with Home Alone.
Oh God. Those are like the only 2 I could even think of.
I'm sure there's a couple other you could think
of. National Lampoon.
Christmas Vacation?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the other one I figured. I'm going to go with Elf at 2.
Give me Jim Carrey's Grinch.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good pick. Good pick. That was a good one. I guess I could go. I'm gonna go Home Alone 2. Different movies.
Trying to look up Christmas movies.
I mean, just look at the chat. They're throwing them out there for you.
Yeah, but see, like I probably haven't seen them.
I feel like there's got to be you've seen more.
I haven't. I literally just watched Christmas Vacation.
What about the Santa Claus movies? Have you seen them? With Tim Allen?
Oh yeah. Okay. I'll go the first one.
Santa Claus?
The original, yeah.
Okay. So we're both at 3, right? Yeah. So this would be my 4.
That was my 4.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. So and then I'm gonna go Christmas Story.
And then I'll go the latest animated Grinch.
I'm gonna go a little bit off the board here. I thought about going with a couple different ones. Okay. I thought about Christmas with the Cranks is like is a kind of it's kind of cheesy, but it's kind of a another Tim Allen movie. But I'm gonna go with one that's on Netflix, and it is Christmas Chronicles. I don't know if you've seen it, but it is very good. It's on Netflix. It's a newer Christmas movie. There is 2 of them right now, but the first one it is very good. It's like a lot of the like new Christmas movies suck. Like they're just not very good. They're all kind of follow the same thing. But I think that movie, if anybody's seen it, Christmas, I think the Christmas Chronicles is a very good movie. So, see that one so hard? You got through it?
Barely. I feel like I fumbled my way through it. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
It is emphatically 100% not a Christmas movie.
I was going.
Just because it is placed in the because the timeline is in Christmas does not make it a Christmas movie. I will die on that hill. I will probably lose subscribers because of it, but it is not a Christmas movie, okay? 100% not a Christmas movie. Just because there's a Christmas tree in the movie doesn't make it a Christmas movie, all right? It's not. It's a good movie, but it's not a Christmas movie, right? But will you die hard on that hill? Fuck yeah, I will. Sorry, Randy. Didn't mean to skip your question here. Taysom Hill, Goddard, or Hunter Henry PPR?
Goddard for me.
Yeah, I'll go Goddard here. Carlos, Higgins, Ridley, DJ Moore, and Deontay Johnson pick 2. This is going to be DJ Moore and Higgins for me.
If Trevor Lawrence plays, I'll go DJ Moore and Ridley. If he does not, then it's Moore and Higgins.
Appreciate the super chat, Carlos. Friday after next. See, that's another good example. That one's, around Christmas. It's not a fucking Christmas movie.
I saw that one when I literally Googled top Christmas movies, and I thought about saying it. But next Friday is probably my favorite of the group. No, there's more. They get the presents back. You have the.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right. I guess that is way more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's fair.
Yeah. I think that one could be considered a Christmas movie.
Have you ever seen the Wash, which
Nope.
has Snoop in it and Dre? You ever seen that movie?
Nope.
It came out in like 2001 or something like that. It's also very underrated. Nothing to do with Christmas at all, but it is also a good movie, The Wash. People have seen that, but where are we at?
Goff or Murray? I will go Murray.
I agree.
Palmer over D-Hop? I would not do that. I would go D-Hop.
Yeah, I would do that on that one, yeah.
PC, Higgins or Rice. That is going to be Rice for us. We have Rashee Rice as a consensus wide receiver 1 this week. Lamar or Stafford? I will go Lamar.
Yep.
Millie Matrix, Adams, Addison, or Higgins?
This is going to be Higgins.
Higgins by a smidge over Adams for me. I don't want to chase the 2 touchdown performance from Addison.
Yippee-ki-yay, man.
Gonna make Kev blow a gasket here.
It's not a bad movie. Like, it's not like I'm like, oh, the movie sucks. Like, it's not that. It's just not a Christmas movie. It's just not. In fact, even Bruce Willis himself said it's not a Christmas movie. I'm just saying it's not. So
thought that was gonna be the mic drop, didn't you? Even Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
I called him. Reborn with the diehard take. Pick 2, JT, Bijan, or Brees.
The first 2.
First 2, but I do like I like Brees as a sneaky pick this week. But I'm still gonna go Bijan over Brees. JT's locked in. Broncos or Bills defense. Man.
I'm gonna go Bills here.
Lean Bills as well. Even if Kev does that Hoosier, I will unban you.
I would never. I don't think I've ever Well, maybe we have. I think it's been like maybe outside of porn bots. Like I can't think of a maybe only once or twice where people are just like clearly trying to troll into saying dumb shit like that. I've banned somebody, but other than that, I'm gonna ban you for your bad, poor choice of Christmas movie takes.
Houston or Miami D.
Houston.
Houston for me as well. Another one here from Carlos. Appreciate the super chats, by the way, everybody. Mostert, Mixon, Swift, Monty, pick 2 is going to be the first 2 for me. Mostert and Mixon.
Yep.
Let's see. Fergie Ferg, Goddard, Kraft in a different league for Tyler. It's gonna be still gonna be Goddard.
This will be Jake Ferguson.
Ferguson would be my numero dos. Ridley or Metcalf. Tyler, we are split. Oh no, wait, sorry. This is gonna be Metcalf for both of us, I think.
Yeah, it's Metcalf. Trung. I completely forgot about Jingle All the Way. That was with Arnold. Do you remember that one? Turbo Man.
Might have seen it when I was
Sinbad and Arnold, and there was a Turbo Man doll that they were trying to get, and they're like racing through town trying to get it, and they're like fighting each other for it. Like also very underrated Christmas movie, and it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. I mean, anything he does. I mean,
I think I've seen that one like years ago. I saw it once and I haven't seen it since.
Reborn, still in here. It is not a Christmas movie. Okay, well we can just we keep going around. I mean, I could have a debate with this. We could just have debates. Well, we're not tonight, but we could. We could go back and forth on this and just. But there's just not a debate. It's not a Christmas movie.
Christmas Story. Did you say Christmas Story is one of your picks, Kev?
Yeah. The marathon's about to start. It starts on Christmas Eve and it goes for 24 hours. Christmas Story. The one that came out, I think it was last year. I think it was when it came out on HBO. It was okay. It wasn't as bad as some of the other like remakes and sequels and stuff like that we've seen happen, but it wasn't great either.
Of the world, Craig. Great call. Great call.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to make a new Friday movie.
It does feel like we're due for one. Rams or Broncos? I'm going Broncos.
Yeah.
That Pinky shows up in Friday After Next, right? From next Friday, I think Pinky makes an appearance. If I'm remembering correct, it's been a while. Been a while since I've seen it, but I'm trying to like remember. Trying to remember parts from it. Of the world is that that's.
What are you doing selling boxes? Are you trying to make a clubhouse?
Thanks, guys. How do we feel about Lamar going up against San Fran? I mean, we've seen that defense get got before, right? I have Lamar going up in 2 of my playoff matchups. Doesn't feel great, but I don't think they get shut out either. Like I don't think we get a Lamar explosion game, but I also don't think we're looking at like a 12-point performance either. I need Lamar to do some things because I'm going up Walito, Kev, in the listener league. I can't lose to Walito. Can't. I don't think we got this one from Melly Matrix, Gibbs or Swift. That's going to be Gibbs for both of us. PC, Bills, Jets, Broncos. I'm going to go Jets on that one.
I got Bills on this.
RP just picked up Hunter Henry, Titans Kelsey. Should I start Henry at flex over someone like Smith, Ayuk, or Monty? No, I'm putting in Ayuk at flex. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Have you seen that?
No.
Bruh. Like, we've had this discussion many times. You are not a movie aficionado. Like, you are not somebody that, like, there is a lot of movies that you've never seen that, like, most people would
Very
like.
many.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's technically a Christmas movie. It's a Halloween movie, but yes, Christmas is involved in it. I think you can make a case it's a Christmas movie, I guess, but it's both.
Hoosier. Sorry, JT, ETN, AJB, Pittman need a flex. D Hop, Singletary, Connor, Chandler.
Chandler.
I'm going to go D Hop. I think Chandler is safer, but I lean D Hop here. Cam Cap rocking with us once again. Mahomes, Field, or Stafford?
Mahomes.
Different league. Flacco, Kyler, Mullins.
It's gonna be Kyler.
I've always wondered what the Devo is from here, especially with the caps. That always threw me off. I don't know if it's supposed to stand for something. Name is Devo. Nice to meet you, Devo. I will now refrain from calling you Hoosier, so that your name is Devo.
It was right there the whole time, too.
It was right in our face. Jorge, happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, senor. Wide receiver 2, should I start Olave, Puka, or Wilson? Sure, we're going to be split on this one, Kev. I'm going to go Puka. I feel like you're going to go Olave.
I'll go Olave. Yep.
So we're split on that one. And then flex, Gibbs, JT, Hall, or any of the wide receivers not picked. And that is going, ooh. JT by a smidge.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Jorge, who are you starting at running back that you're potentially flexing Gibbs and JT? How can we not get both of them in? Who are your running backs?
Yeah.
Let us know that, and then we'll come back to this and try and help out. Man. Wow. I'm trying to think of, I mean, I guess Kyron CMC. Like who else? Who else do you have that? You know what I mean? Wow. Jackie, assuming everyone is starting, need 2 running backs and a flex and PPR out of Eckler, Javonte, Jacobs, Zeke, Chandler, Noah Brown, and Jaden Reed. Kamara and Kyron. Okay. I understand now. Still JT by a smidge for me.
Yeah, and good for you. That running back room. The rare, like, solid running back room from this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Jacobs and Chandler. And I'm going to flex Jayden Reed.
Yeah. Assuming health, Jayden Reed. If not, I'll go Zeke. Or sorry, Eckler. I'll go Eckler over Zeke. AP. What's going on? Semifinals bound. Let's go. Carlos, will we start Fields over Lamar? I would.
Yeah, I would go Fields over Lamar too.
Question here from AP. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. Henry, Pollard, Chandler, Warren, Foreman, Cup, Waddle, Smith, Reed, Hollywood.
So the running backs, it's going to be Pollard and Chandler.
Pollard and Henry for me.
And then at wide receiver, it's going to be Cup and Waddle.
Yes.
And then at flex,
I'm going to flex Smitty.
I'm going to flex Jayden Reed.
Cam Cap, how would you rank Browns, Bears, Broncos, Eagles? Broncos, or wait.
It would be Broncos,
Eagles, Bears, Browns.
Or no, excuse me. It would be Eagles. Sorry. It'd be Eagles, Broncos, Browns, Bears.
Kev, break out those kicker rankings. Group A or McPherson?
Oh, boy. I'm going to go with, though, Blake Group A.
And there you have it. Week 16, Wednesday edition, starts it in the books. Appreciate all of you rocking with us. Happy holidays to everybody. If you have any other questions, you can drop them on any of the YouTube videos. You can also jump into our Discord, which Kev, I will grab the link if you want to read this question from Devo.
I mean, he hasn't been ruled out this week, but he didn't practice. I really see no reason for them to rush him back, especially as well as Ty Chandler has played. And I believe O'Connell said today that Ty Chandler was the starting running back moving forward.
Yep.
But Alexander Madison, I do not expect to play. And so I'm not worried about it. I like Chandler. I mean, obviously you like him more if Madison is out, because I do think if he comes back, Madison's probably going to mix in some. But I just think Chandler, as long as he gets that update, or as long as he gets that the role he has, it's hard not to really like what he brings to the table. I mean, he looked really good, looked really explosive. He was a workhorse. So that's been one of the best things we've been able to bank on this year has been volume. Running backs, I mean, we continue to try to fade guys like, Rachaad White or Kyron Williams and, try to poke holes in them, but they've continued to produce all year because of their massive workload they see. And Chandler saw that workload last week. He was a true workhorse there. So it's hard not to really like Ty Chandler this week. Carlos, 1 flex, 1 running back, Taylor, Walker, Rice. So the running back is going to be Taylor. And then the flex is going to be Rashee Rice.
So sorry, I was just going back to the Chandler thing. I just wanted to read some of the quotes. Says Ty is absolutely a guy that's going to continue to see a featured role in our offense. And also went on to say, we're kind of building with the mindset that Ty is going to be a guy that we're trying to get the ball up to a lot, both in the run and the pass. And then if we can have Alex, that's going to be a huge bonus for the depth. So it is Ty Chandler season.
JR, what's up, boys? What's up, JR? Do I roll Olave and Njoku in the slot? And you can start people in the slot. I know tight end and flex is not the standard, but he crushed for me last week. Also, Dak and Fields and Niners Browns defense.
I'm going Njoku over Olave.
I'm just curious, who are you starting at tight end now? I'm assuming it's probably like McBride or Laporta or something like that. Who are you starting at tight end right now? I would probably go Olave, but I get it. I get the argument for Njoku, and if your gut's telling you to go Njoku, go for it. He obviously played really well. Okay, so he's Laporta. Makes sense. So that's why. Yeah. I
think Njoku and Olave have the same ceiling, and I think Njoku is safer.
Yeah.
Because Njoku's been putting up 20 burgers for the past 3 to 4 weeks.
Last 2 weeks in a row. Yeah.
2 weeks. Like Olave has hit that. I mean, if I had to guess off the top of my head, like 4 or 5 times all year.
$20? He hasn't scored that. He's been actually 0. Actually, well, hold on. That was standard. Full PPR, he's done it once.
Okay, so
he did it week 10 against Minnesota. He's hovered around it quite a bit. He scored 19 against Tennessee, 18 against Green Bay, 17 against Houston, 17 against Chicago, 21 against Minnesota, 18 against Atlanta, 17 against Detroit, and then 13 against Carolina before missing last week.
I would go Fields over Dak.
And I don't hate that either. I think you could do that. I think you could go Fields over Dak. I know it's one thing I'll say is Dak has not played as well on the road as he has at home.
I just like that matchup for Fields better than what I like it for Dak. And then I would go Browns defense.
Yeah, I'd go Browns. Hoosier, appreciate it. Appreciate y'all as always. Keep it classy, San Diego. Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Spanish for whale's vagina.
Thanks, guys. That's how I feel, especially with Olave post concussion. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like if you have a lean towards it and you feel really good, I mean, go for it. I mean, go do it. Right. I can't tell you the times that I have like went away from myself and just hated it. That I didn't follow, just kind of my gut feeling on something and was so pissed off that I just didn't. It's usually right. And so if that's how you feel, like, yeah, I would lean into it. Just go Njoku. Like Njoku has played really well the last 2 games for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it. I think Olave has a safer floor than what Njoku does. But yes, I do
Texans
think that
Texans also allowing the 5th most half PPR points per game to tight ends as well.
Anchorman is a very good movie. Old School is also a very. Have you seen Old School? Vince Vaughn, Will Ferrell.
Yeah, but not for a while. It's been a while since I've seen that. I don't know why. It's just one of those movies I've always wanted to go back to, and I just never have for some reason.
You can say anything you want. You just have to cover his ears. And you can say whatever, shit, fuck, balls, whatever you want, but you have to cover the ears. You're my boy, Blue. Yeah, was like one we used to watch like when I was in the Navy. back some time ago, we used to watch that movie like religiously all the time. It's a great movie. Love it. That being said, I think that's
I like you, man, but you're crazy. You have a dart in your neck.
Come on, Snoop. Snoop a loop. We're going Stray Cat. Get the quad into the gymnasium. A nice little Saturday. Nice little Saturday plan.
I don't know if we'll have time. I don't know.
Will Ferrell is the man. So many good movies he's done.
As the tradition, fuck around at the end, and then questions keep pouring in.
That's what we're here for. Here for the people. By far my hardest week for decision making. Start 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex and a tight end.
So running backs look like JT, Chandler, Aaron Jones, ETN, Connor, Monty, Zeke. Wow. So that's going to be JT and Jones for me. Or sorry, JT and ETN.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receivers, Cup, locking them in. Smitty over Jaden Reed for me. Do you have Reed over?
Yes.
Okay, so we're split there. Flex, I will.
Chandler for me.
Chandler for me in the flex as well. Then tight end, obviously McBride.
Yep.
Adios, turd nugget.
Also a good movie.
What's high score mean? Did I break it? Lover Fields, that is going to be love for me, Abreu.
It's going to be love for you?
Did I say love?
Yeah, he said it's going to be love for me.
I meant Fields.
100% Fields. I was going to be like, what? What'd you say?
Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
Okay. Oh.
Nope.
We were going into this is what happens every time, which I appreciate. I'm never going to be upset about getting questions, obviously, but like we always get into it. We start the outro, and I think people jump out, and then like it just keeps going because we keep getting questions. So and that's what we say. We answer all of the questions. So have Josh Allen, Mixon, Swift, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Waddle, and Joku. Do I swap JT for my bench? One of my running backs, wide receivers. Also, do I start Eagles or Colts defense this week?
Eagles at defense.
And yes, I am swapping Jonathan Taylor for DeAndre Swift for sure.
That is correct.
And then I'm starting Eagles defense.
Yeah.
But the rest of the team, very good. I mean, Justin Jefferson back now, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Waddle, and Joku balling. Mixon's been playing better. And now you're getting JT back just in the nick of time. Yeah. You guys in Western or Eastern Pennsylvania? I'm not in neither of them. I hail from the great state of Missouri.
I grew up in Western PA, but I have since moved, and I've been in North Carolina outside of Charlotte for 2 years, going on 3 years now. What part around Philly? My wife grew up in Lebanon. She's from the Lebanon, Lancaster area.
But he'll always be a Yinzer at heart.
Always be a Yinzer, even though I hate the Steelers.
I mean,
Recon playing.
You were jumping on board. You were jumping on board though this year.
I was, and that's what happens. That's what happens when I finally start to believe that they give me a shred of hope. They come out and they do what they do. Recon playing Russ Bijan Cook, CD Keenan, Godwin, Ferguson. Does my Josh Allen squad stand a chance against this for the semis?
Yeah, for sure. Your team's better. And honestly,
Yeah, I mean,
I
Keenan likely not to play.
right. Yep.
I have Njoku over Ferguson, Allen over Russ for sure.
Yeah.
Your running backs as a total over Bijan and Cook. And then your receivers over those two.
Yeah.
Price pigeon injuries into my playoffs. The worst. That's why it should. Well, I mean, I guess for injuries, it probably wouldn't have mattered. It probably would have been eliminated anyway. But that sucks. Okay, there you go.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Still got 2 outs. Pigeon. Good luck to you. Eagles over Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would go Eagles.
I knew it. I could get the accent. I'm from Westchester.
Okay. Home of Bam Margera. Old Bam. Old Bam used to be out there in Westchester.
Nobody likes the Steelers. They call carts buggies.
We do. Shopping carts, buggies.
Excuse me?
I don't know why. It actually never even crossed my mind that like that doesn't make sense until literally right now. I like that never. That's sick. That's real sick. But I never even questioned buggies until right now. I don't know why. But yeah, buggies. Obviously, pop. We've went over that one.
Yeah, but I mean, I've never heard that one before. It's always
Slippy.
A what?
Like if the floor is like wet instead of saying slippery, slippy. Careful, it's slippy out there. And sometimes if you're trying to clean up their house, say red up. Had to red up the house.
It's like a different world we're living right now, you know?
Bologna sometimes called jumbo.
Jumbo.
They call it. Go down to store or get some chipped ham, some jumbo.
You should do an entire show just talking like that.
I could.
Is there like does Pittsburgh have like any like me too, JR? Does Pittsburgh have like a food that they're known for? Like Kansas City is barbecue, you know, stuff like that. Like I know like Cincinnati, I think is like what they're like their skyline chili.
I don't know if. Well, we obviously got Permanis down there. Got to go down Permanis, and we take some of the cold cuts. You got your lettuce, your maters, and then we put fries right there on the sandwich. Got to put the fries on the sandwich down there at Permanis. I mean, like pierogies are big. Actually, the town next to me where I grew up is home to the very first banana split. But I don't know. It's not like there's people don't fucking travel to Latrobe to go get a banana split. But yeah, I don't know. I guess pierogies would be up there. Permanis is like the Pittsburgh staple of food. No, I can't. I don't think there's any foods.
808.
Anyway, huh?
With the icy Broncos helmet.
Well, 808 got a question. Got Monty, Zeke, Javonte, Ty Chandler.
Ty Chandler.
I'm gonna take Monty here. I got Monty over Ty Chandler. Just by a smidge.
that's phenomenal. Yeah, I'm gonna go Ty Chandler with that one, and then I don't know if did we answer this? Are we starting Bijan? I don't think we did we?
Yeah, I didn't see that one. Sorry, anyway. But that was a good one. That was a good one right there. Sorry, 808.
I think it depends on your options, right? Like it's not him, right? Like there's been a lot of people or I should say a lot, but I've seen people talk recently like how big of a bust he's been this year. But like I don't blame it's not his fault. Like the amount of like the way that Arthur Smith has handled this whole team this year has just been mind blowing to me. That you spend a top 10 pick on a running back and then you're just out here giving Cordell Patterson and Tyler Algier, which I think Tyler Algier should get touches, but like it should be Bijan Robinson should be your workhorse. If you're going to invest a top 10 pick into a running back, you would better run that motherfucker into the ground. Like I hate to say it, but like that should be your guy. Like you're not because one, you should never spend a top 10 pick ever on a running back, but if you did, that's what we should be happening. Like we shouldn't be having these discussions. We shouldn't be seeing all these other guys mix in. And whenever they finally started to like, oh, maybe he figured it out, like he started to take off and really played really well. And I would say for the most part, Bijan's played pretty well for the most part this year, despite the fact that what's happened. Like all we can keep asking for, as long as you're not a fan of the Falcons, is for the Falcons to continue to lose. Because the Falcons keep losing, then Arthur Smith is damn sure going to get fired. But as far as this week, yes, I think you can play him. So I would for me it's Bijan and Chandler, and for Cody it's Bijan and Monty. And you have Garrett Wilson at the flex. Actually, yes, kick that son of a bitch out, and I would play all three of your running backs, and not play Garrett Wilson. Zay, question: I have CMC Kyron. You're just flexing, Zay. Starting running back. I'm trying to decide if I should put Kamara or Gibbs at the flex. I'm gonna go Kamara, but
yeah, I put Alvin Kamara in there.
It's phenomenal, so good. Reckon, hey, I have the Cowboys, Eagles, and Colts defense, like you guys said, to start Eagles, but they haven't been performing that well. All the Bengals defense on the waivers. Should I pick them up? So you're not playing Cowboys on the road against the Dolphins, right? Like that's not a smart. That's not a good. It's not a good. I would not do that at all, especially with Tyreek coming back. I don't think you can do that. As far as the Colts are concerned, I don't mind going with the Colts, right? But Taylor Heineke is a little bit less risk averse. He's not somebody who's going to turn the ball over like Desmond Ritter was. He is much more of a game manager, smart with the football type quarterback, and so I don't love it as much for them. When it comes to the Eagles, I get it that they obviously they lost last week, but I wouldn't say their defense played poorly. And then I also think that just the matchup. I mean, there's a big difference between Seattle and what the Giants bring to the table in terms of weapons and stuff like that. And so like this feels like a get right game for the Eagles. And so I really like the Eagles. I can tell you personally, I had this decision to make between the Eagles and Broncos this week, and I went with the Eagles. Is who I picked up for my own team. Not that my team matters because nobody cares about my fantasy football team, but I can say that I was in the same situation and went with the same thing. So that's where I would go there. JR, always good chat with you guys. I appreciate you playing along. I'll catch you before Christmas. Yeah, we'll be on Sunday. Actually, we'll be on tomorrow night. Not for this, but for the DFS show with Maddie. We'll be on tomorrow night for the DFS show for Week 16. But other than that, we will also be live on Sunday morning, Christmas Eve morning, to get you ready for all those games as well before Christmas. So that'll be good. We'll go live there like we normally do, same time, 10 a.m. to Central Time, 11 to 11:30. So we'll be back there for that as well. And there's not a lot of great games. I mean, the Saints and the Rams games kind of intriguing tomorrow, but other than that, that Saturday slate of games is. It's a little gross. I mean, the Bengals and Steelers, especially the Steelers side, and then you have the other game with the Bills and Chargers, and I don't have any faith whatsoever the Chargers are going to be able to do anything against the Bills. So that game's kind of gross. So that being said, we answered all the questions for the 15th time, which we appreciate. Obviously, I appreciate all the questions and everything else, but every time we think we're going to get out of here, we don't. It will always be the best memory of the time that we were just getting flooded with questions, and it was like 1 a.m, and Cody had enough, and he just said, "Fuck it," and literally just ended the stream. I think he said, "This is bullshit," and then just clicked end stream, and the stream ended. Like that's how it ended.
I think I said like this is ridiculous. I can't do this, and it was. I couldn't. I had enough.
Instead of just,
it was too much.
It was phenomenal. I laughed. I probably shouldn't have, but it shouldn't be like. But it was funny. Anyways, that being said, we'll be back in tomorrow night for the DFS show. We'll be back again on Sunday for the last start set. We will have all the answers to the test in terms of who's playing, who's in, who's out. Or at least have a really good idea. So that being said, have a good rest of the week. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you Sunday morning on Christmas Eve to unwrap some presents, if you will, for some fantasy championships in the following week. So see you on the next one. Bye.